Hey everybody, welcome to the Nightly Grind.
3, 2.
Tonight is June 23rd, 2017. We got a couple pieces of news the week after E3, so it's a little bit light. We actually have almost as much movie news as we do game news this week. But we'll jump right into it. The first is a huge update. I'll call it a huge update to Pokemon Go. Earlier this week, they took all gyms down, and
They are back up now.
and they are back up now. In
They are
anticipation
back up now as
of
of yesterday.
in anticipation of the update, the new gyms feature the ability to spin the photo disc, and like you would any regular Pokestop.
Please stop.
Actually, they changed a Pokestop, I noticed, into a gym.
A lot of them, they did change a lot, and they added a lot too.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting to see. I didn't expect that. So you can acquire items at gyms now, not just at Pokestops. And they added some sort of a motivation system where...
Motivation system.
Yeah.
Put this out there.
Motivate
the
me.
gym now, it goes in with the rating system, but you have to spin a gym every day in order to get a raid token to do the raids.
Oh, interesting.
They have
What level do you have to be to do raids?
They
do you
do
know?
now. Yesterday they opened it up and it was 35 and up. Today, this morning they changed it to 31 and up, and then this afternoon they changed it to 28 and up. And so it's going down. They're letting the higher level people raid first.
Sure.
But it's supposed to trickle down so everybody can do it from the sound of it.
Yeah.
Trickle down, and it's gonna work.
And these raids are essentially cooperative battles against some sort of raid boss.
They are. You see, basically how it is when you're able to do raids, you see certain gyms that have eggs on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
Pink eggs are for more common or uncommon or level or tier 1 and 2 Pokemon. Yellow eggs are tier 3 and 4, and then they have data mined that there is actually a legendary egg color that's like black.
Wow.
And they'll show up with a timer that counts down
Right.
to the point where the egg hatches, and that's when the boss comes out, and you can see what the boss is at that point. And then you can have, I think it's up to 20 people from what I've been hearing, that can go and attack this boss, and they have a 1-hour time limit to try and attack him and take him down. And then once you beat him, then you have the opportunity to try and catch him. And he's a high level, high CP boss that you get. So.
And you can get rare items.
Yes, from what I've been hearing, if you beat him, you get golden raspberries, rare candies, and premier balls and revives.
Premier balls?
Premier balls are the ones you use to catch the bosses.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Why wouldn't
How
you?
did we not know?
Naturally.
Naturally.
And
The
they
gym
added
system
gym badges too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have the gym systems changed so that you can have up to 6 people in a gym at a time, but the combat power of them deteriorate over time.
That's the
And then
motivation system.
Yeah, and you don't get any coins until they've been defeated and they come back to you, and then they bring the coins back. But they're still tweaking it. As of today, they tweaked it so you can only get a maximum of 50 coins a day, but you get 1 coin per, I think it's 10 minutes that your Pokemon is in a gym.
That's not bad.
Yeah, so if you have one in for 8.5 hours or 8 hours and 20 minutes, then you maxed out for your day.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have several in there for, however
Sure,
long, then
yeah.
you max out.
Yeah. And I saw that the way they work now is that it's the order that they could put in there.
Yes.
That's the order that then they get fought. You
Yeah,
fight
I
them
was
if you're
fighting-
trying to take the.
I was fighting a gym last night, so. But once you beat them, instead of the gym level going down, the levels of the Pokemon go down, so that the next time you can fight a 2000 CP Tyranitar, and then the next time you fight him it'll only be 1500, and the next time it'll drop it down and down until it hits 0.
That's
Basically, just gang bang them until you win.
pretty much.
Much.
That's the motivation system.
I don't understand anything that we've been talking about for the last 3 minutes.
Man, you gotta
Right.
download it.
Nothing.
It's free.
It means
can,
nothing. I
Oh
don't
my
know what
god,
you're
it's
talking
free.
about.
We must download
It's
it.
free. You
You
have to
can
do it.
also feed them berries in order to heal them when they're at the gyms, and you
Right.
can feed berries to heal all of them, not just yours. Anybody
Hmm.
else's that are in there, you can heal them
Interesting.
too.
To
Yeah.
remotivate them.
Remotivate.
Remotivate
The
them.
motivation system. I thought that was such a silly name. But yeah, that was pretty much the whole update. I don't think there's much else in there. Oh, and didn't you say that we were making fun of people going to the Pokemon Go event in Chicago?
It's
I
sold
just said
out.
it was probably a dangerous thing.
Yeah, I have to apologize for calling them nerds. They're giant nerds
They're
because
huge.
they sold out in like 6 minutes. Like, what the hell?
It was about 6 minutes.
It's
they
because
sold
there's
out.
a special thing. You have to be there to get a
How
special
many?
Pokemon.
I wonder how
thing,
many
right?
of those were bought by bots, purchased by bots. You know.
You know, I don't know.
And
I
then
know that a
resold
lot of
later.
them are being resold, and some people online said that they were buying them for like $270 to get these tickets to go.
I remember when I bought my League
that's
of
why
Legends.
That's why they sold out in 6 minutes.
I remember when I bought League of Legends tickets, I went online just to see how much I could sell them for, and mine, which I bought for $100 a piece, were selling for like $750. It's ridiculous.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah, I was seriously considering selling them.
Fucking, let's go on vacation. Fuck
Shit.
me.
Yeah,
You
I
watch
was
that shit
seriously
at home with a
considering it.
really good bottle of whiskey. Shit.
Yeah, I mean it's
You can
fun to
watch-
be
you can
there at
watch
the
it in
event.
Cancun for that much money.
But I was like,
Yeah,
damn,
exactly,
Sucks.
sir. Yeah.
because I purchased them before you knew what teams were playing. So I think part of it is, once the people know what teams are playing, that the price may go up or down depending. But yeah, I was seriously considering seeing if I could sell them, but we ended up going. And it was worth it. It was a fun time.
Not as fun as that fucking $1,500.
No, that would have been nice. Yeah, we could have bought a nice streaming,
A
thing.
nice used
nice
car.
TV or something. So Atari revealed this week through a short little video that they're working on a new PC technology-based console. They haven't really said what that means. A lot of people are guessing that it's going to be like a retro thing,
Yeah,
which is
probably.
sort of expected. But it'd be
40,
cool.
40 of the best 2-bit Atari games.
Yeah, it'd be cool if
Wait,
it
it
was
was
something
8-bit,
new
right?
entirely, though.
No, wait, it was 8-bit, right?
I mean, the Jaguar was 64-bit.
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
owned.
we were cooking
I
back
owned
then.
the Atari Jaguar.
Man,
Don't
we
talk about
owned
the
our
Atari
neighborhood
Jaguar
back then.
because it's a dead system.
I
okay?
owned it.
It's up there with like the Dreamcast. It's irrelevant.
The
okay?
controller on that thing was absurd. It had a full like 6x6 pad in the middle of the thing. Like 6 buttons by 6 buttons. It was huge. Like 36 buttons in the middle. I think was it a full alphabet? It might have been a full alphabet. A through Z. Anyways, it was a crazy system. But they just sort of said we have this thing coming.
I think it's. I'm hoping if they do a retro thing, they at least make it so you can easily, for a few bucks, download another 40 games or something. Not make it just this for 40 games in this, and then
And
that's
we're,
all you get.
like Nintendo, we're going to release it for 3 months. People are going to love it, and then we're going to discontinue it immediately.
Or how about you just spend
It was just a
$200
test.
and get an emulator?
Yeah. Well, that's what.
I mean, honestly,
yeah, the
you're
Nintendo
buying
thing
it
pissed
for,
me off to get a Raspberry Pi. So.
You're buying it for the nostalgia factor. You're not
Yep.
buying it for the form factor.
They forced us to do it.
Yeah.
So they didn't force you to do anything. They brought the product out and people went, oh boy, oh boy. I'm just saying that if the
No,
Granted, it's not-
they forced Bone. I already had a Raspberry
They
Pi.
forced
when
me to
it
buy a
came
Raspberry
out.
Pi by discontinuing it. I really
okay.
wanted to buy one because I thought it was
Yeah.
cool looking.
But I mean, it's like, why not just get an emulator? You can, if with the emulator Bones got, you can get everything from Nintendo, everything from Atari, everything from Sega. I mean, you can literally have everything up to like Dreamcast, if not higher than that, if you really know.
Well,
where to
this
look.
is something new.
You said something new. The little video they showed, it's not worth watching. It sort of showed that little. Remember on the Atari that little wood green
wood panel.
look to it? Yeah, they showed sort of something that looked kind of like that. The little wood panel with the little
Looked a little
ridges in it.
blonder, didn't it?
Maybe it was hard to tell.
I don't think it was the same because the original
It was
like
similar. It wasn't
rosewood
the
techno,
same.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly the same, but it had those
It's
little
still going to be a
ridges,
faux
wood look.
fucking wood plastic.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, it's still probably.
Nonetheless, it gave you an idea of your like an original 2600 or something like
I
that.
wonder if anybody's done a retro refit of their original Atari with a nice piece of wood. They
What would you
scalloped
want
it and
to?
everything.
A real piece of wood, not a plastic.
I'm
not the
sure
plastic.
somebody has.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes without saying.
Or you
but-
can make your own for your Raspberry Pi or something. So that'd
be cool.
That may come out in the future, but yeah, they gave us like no information on it other than that it's happening. So that's kind of silly. But this is kind of an interesting one. Earlier this week, it was announced that the PC port of Destiny 2 will not feature recoil. It was then later clarified by Destiny 2's PC project lead on Twitter that there is in fact recoil, but it's heavily modified for the PC. I have no idea what that means. They were talking about, when they originally were talking about it, how recoil doesn't feel good with a keyboard and mouse, that it feels better with a controller. And my guess was that the rumble, the force feedback kind of a thing, but I had no idea what the hell the guy was talking about. So it's good to see that there's actually recoil, because if there's no recoil in a game that features PvP on a PC game, how are you going to balance weapons? Because you're way more accurate with a keyboard and mouse, especially with no recoil. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Is this Bungie showing off their complete and utter lack of understanding?
I don't
PC
think
gaming?
Bungie's in charge of the port. I think somebody else is.
Thank God. But that sounds like a Bungie thing, because I mean, Bungie is a company that basically doesn't like keyboard and mouse. They've been on record saying that numerous times.
Well, I mean, Bungie started out as a Mac developer.
It doesn't mean shit.
Well, I'd be strange for them not to like keyboard
and I think at that time they were making majority point-and-click adventures.
Marathon was their big game on Mac. Anyways, obviously Bungie's still involved. They're making the game. But I don't think they're in charge of the port. If I remember correctly, it was somebody else. Anyways, it was a very strange thing to say. No recoil on keyboard and mouse. And people were like, what the hell are they talking about? No recoil. It doesn't feel good on a keyboard and mouse. Every PC game practically ever has had recoil on you.
Yeah, pretty much everyone.
There's games like Counter-Strike that it's the pro scene is based around mastering the unique recoils of each weapon.
Right.
So like I said, to me, it sounds like somebody that doesn't have any concept of PC gaming. I mean, realistically.
Yeah.
So
it was a very strange statement. But they just clarified that it's going to be heavily modified. So what the hell that means, I don't know. But we'll have to see.
Well, I've already pre-ordered it, so
yeah, I pre-ordered it too. I'm playing the game. I just thought it was a funny thing to say. There was a major update to Arma 3 today, right? It was today?
Yeah, just
I downloaded it this morning, yeah.
Not as convincing as I am, so sorry.
We had discussed it a few months ago that Arma 3 was releasing a free update that has added the Malden map, which was from the original Operation Flashpoint, which most of us have played, I think, right?
Yeah.
The three of us? Yeah. I didn't expect Saul to have played it. But the original Operation Flashpoint was awesome. I loved it at the time. And they're bringing that map. It's heavily modified. It's a smaller size, I think. It's sort of like a reskin for Arma 3, along with a new 5v5 game mode, which emphasizes, quote, heavily randomized combat against AI. So I don't know if you're actually fighting the other 5 players or if you're just both fighting AI.
I think it's just AI, because the original game had like the same kind of feature to it. You could
and you're sort of going for score or something like that.
Yeah. So it would just be like a 5-player co-op, and you have to make your way across the map and do certain things.
They called it a 5v5 game mode. So I don't know how it's gonna work, but we'll probably check it out.
Okay, that's something different.
Yeah, they called it a 5v5 game mode with combat against AI. So I don't know if it's like a score or like both teams rush to an objective or something like that.
It's 5 versus 5 plus co-op. I would say 5 versus 5 plus AI.
Plus AI as well.
I'm sorry. The game already functions like that to a point, because you can be like Blue 4, Op 4, and then you'd have the Insurgents, and the Insurgents could always be the computer control, and that would be
It sounded like you guys are here, here's your objective. AI is covering that objective, and you have to whoever gets that objective first wins. So if you kill all of them and the AI, you can get the objective.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll have to try it out.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna try it out. But it's cool that it's free, and I think the Jets DLC just came out recently, so they've been adding quite a bit to this game.
$10 for the Jets DLC, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a bit expensive.
It's probably on sale.
They always do.
With the Steam sale.
It's on sale because it's a Steam sale.
Like I said, they always do.
Yeah.
They Creative Assembly, or it's not Creative Assembly, it's Bohemia.
Yeah, Bohemia Interactive.
They support their games very, very well.
Yeah.
I'd say they almost are up there with like the way Blizzard supports their games. They basically scratch out every little inch of the game until it gets to a point where they literally cannot achieve anything else without upgrading the engine, and then they upgrade the engine, and then they pick up right where they left off in most cases.
Yeah.
And they have one of the most dedicated modding communities that you'll ever find in a PC game. So they're worth the investment if you like the first person shooters, or even just like any of the other genres. I mean, realistically speaking, DayZ is spawned right after Arma. A lot of the new survival mods that basically have gotten their wave came right off DayZ. That they're all based on modded community games from Arma.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just you could say a lot of the genres today that are very, very popular are based off of modding community games that were made in Arma 2 and Arma 3. So, or at least very least in Arma 2.
Yeah, Arma 2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if you can. The 5v5 game mode is called Argo, I think. And I think it's supposed to be a standalone, so I'm not sure if you can get that for free, or not. But we should check that out. I can't remember. But I think you can.
I have to reinstall, so I guess I'll start tonight.
I think it's a free. I think it's a free standalone. I can check the store real quick. Argo. Yes, it's a free standalone.
Nice.
You can play the game. And you can pay $10 for a special pack, which includes a bunch of cosmetic stuff. There's no pay to win on this. And it includes like access to the special developers page and a whole bunch of like cosmetic stuff and map editor stuff. So it's more for people who are heavily into the game. Which I thought was cool. They're giving it away for free. With just the $10 bonus stuff. This was an interesting one. NBC Sports is going to be broadcasting a Rocket League 2v2 tournament this summer. The $100,000 prize pool tournament, the finals of which will take place from August 26th to the 27th, will be broadcast on NBCSN in the U.S. Is that the NBC Sports Network? I'm assuming. I don't get it. I don't have cable anymore.
I'm pretty sure.
It's going to be on the Sci-Fi Channel, a bunch of other places like the UK, South America, and a couple other places as well. But that's an interesting crazy one to begin with.
Finally, soccer in America on television.
Probably get more viewers than normal soccer.
Dude, totally. Dude. You know how many people are going to tune in to watch that?
I thought it's an interesting game to broadcast on TV. I wonder if anybody's ever approached League of Legends and they just want too much money, because they clearly have the biggest fan base as far as esports is concerned.
Yeah, that's the reason.
You'd think they would be the first ones to be on TV. I mean, they've been on like ESPN, but they just show like a quick clip and they're like, "This happened this weekend, by the way."
Maybe, but I mean, Rocket League's kind of combining a lot of different sports in that it's not just a bunch of people running down a lane shooting at each other.
It's definitely more casual, viewer friendly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
not like hard to figure out what's going on.
The auto racing with the soccer or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
very quick back and forth. It's not like you have to watch three different lanes and
more of the sports jocks with something like Rocket League than you would with League of Legends.
Oh yeah.
A game lasts 5 minutes versus the 45 minutes to an hour.
Potentially.
Goes where basically the only interesting part about the game is the last 10 minutes.
Oh,
with Rocket League, you're not really going into. I mean, there's not a whole lot of rules that they won't understand.
Yeah,
it's a whole lot of jumping back and forth and
it's definitely more casual.
It's I don't think it's casual friendly. I think it's a lot more easy for anybody to pick up and actually understand what's going on. You put the ball in the hole.
Yeah, right.
90% of American sports that right off the bat.
Casual viewer.
Sports network. By showing it on a sports network, they're going to want something that's more sporty, like Madden or like Rocket League or things like that, just so that you can get the people who are hardcore into sports that you wouldn't normally get. You're going to get the gamers and the sports junkies.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't see anything in League of Legends that says sporty.
No, not unless you're
There's nothing about League of Legends that says
sporty. But we're talking about,
other than
that's
like,
a
the
major
competitive nature of it, but that's
a
esports in general is a philosophical discussion on whether they're sports or not.
I mean more by. I think what Soul means and what is that it's not in Total Torn.
It's based on a real sport.
It's not really a sport game.
Yeah.
It's a versus game,
right?
And it's
team
not.
game. Yeah.
The main. I'll give you this. It's the complexity.
Soccer's a sport.
Well, yeah, but it's also very
it's an
simple.
actual sport to the rest of the world.
It's very simple. Put the ball in the hole.
It's easy to watch and figure out what's going on.
I'm saying it's similar to other sports that a lot of these people probably watch.
Yeah, and
That's
the thing
what
with
I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't take much to watch it for a few seconds and understand what's going on.
Bones says like the casual nature of it, and he says that in a very condescending way.
No, not at all. No,
because it's we can't badmouth League of Legends because that would just be wrong.
No, I'm not denying the fact that watching League of Legends is not an easy thing to just do.
I would say
Rocket League is holding a tournament. It's not exactly casual either.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Bones says casual as in any Tom, Dick, and Harry can pick it up and play.
No,
and play effectively.
I'm talking about the viewer. It's a casual viewing experience.
The true hardcore solid gamers would understand the complexity of League of Legends and the dynamics that it takes to really advance in it.
No, what I'm saying is you're showing it on a sports network where people already watch soccer and they're like, what is this? Oh, it's soccer with cars. Okay.
That's awesome. And it looks like RC cars, which could get...
What is this? It's NASCAR.
Well, not only there's a hockey mode, there's a basketball mode.
They'll be doing the fucking normal mode.
Yeah, it's normal mode. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's a sporty game.
It's a sporty game, absolutely. Yeah.
Like I said, the main downside for League of Legends in that aspect is the exact opposite end of the spectrum. It's the complexity of the game. Unless you basically have invested a lot of time in understanding the nuances to the game, all of the characters in the game.
They say DP and lanes and stuff. People are going to be on.
Yeah. And it's stuff like that. And the other problem the game has is that every season they constantly are changing things up with different ways that items are used and stuff like that. There's not, unless you're a hardcore fan of the game and are constantly following it, you could watch one season and have an understanding, and the next season can be completely lost. Because the hero rotations are going to change.
Yeah, like how many heroes are in League of Legends too?
I do have a little bit of a counterpoint to that. There was a post on Reddit a little while ago. It was a couple days ago, actually. And it was a guy who's never played League of Legends before. And he says he's becoming a fan of just the esport of it. And he talked specifically about not knowing what the hell is going on. But he knows... he gets excited because he can tell when big plays are happening. He knows that Baron and Dragon.
Yes, it's very easy to tell when big plays are happening in the League of Legends because you have a shoutcaster screaming, "Oh my God, they're doing it!"
Well, he talked about that. Like the shoutcasters help understand to some degree what's going on. And like Kim, she has no freaking clue what's going on in League of Legends. She went to the event. She had a lot of fun. And she could get a rough idea of what was going on. She doesn't know about last hitting and like the little nuances of the game that you don't have to know about to enjoy the experience.
Where it's very difficult to
enjoy. Dude, League of Legends, there's like 150 characters too. How many
well
different
over
heroes
100 at this point. I don't know if there's
150. Yeah, see, like when you watch Rocket League, it's like, look at that cool shiny car.
Well, that's just it. It's
gonna be a lot easier to pick that up.
He's got a fuzzy ball on his antenna.
He's got a flag on it.
It's definitely a dumbed down element, and it does factor well. I'm just saying that it's one of those things where it's hard. There's games out there that are very fun to play that if you're playing them, they're very fun, but watching them is very boring, not necessarily because it's a boring game, but if you do not understand what's going on or what the actual process of what's going on is, then it kind of loses any enjoyment of watching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a bad example, but an example would be like chess is like that. Chess is a very dull game to people who don't understand chess.
Sure.
But if you understand chess on the level that the pros play it, it's a mind game where they're thinking 20 moves ahead of what they're doing, and you're trying to trap your opponent into doing something stupid to win 20 turns from now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's yet again, to anybody that's watching it, it's just two idiots playing a dumb game on the board. Why aren't they playing checkers? You know, but it's the same thing. Leagues like the same way. It's one of those games where there's a lot more to the game. I mean, a game can, in some cases, be decided at the very beginning with the character selecting.
Yeah. Games can be won and lost in champ select. Absolutely.
And it's one of those things where the next 20 minutes of the game can be completely irrelevant because the game's already decided just because a team makes a mistake or they overplay their position. And
if you had a ticker, if you had a small ticker down at the bottom or something that explained what all the slang terms were, people would probably do a lot better. I mean, it's like listening to the Pokemon stuff. I don't know what the fuck
Yeah,
you're talking about. When you guys are playing League, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
But like I said, that's true, Torn. And like I said, I think even understanding the dynamics and like the terminology is one thing. But like I said, the game changes a lot from season to season because what works one season or what works too well one season, the developers will completely redo the way the game works to change up how the game is played.
Or even
and
week
the thing
to week.
is,
like a patch can completely change the way the game plays.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's very hard to follow and have like a real keen interest in it because they're changing things constantly. And if I go into, I'll kick off into real sports here. Football's kind of been taking American football has been taking a real hit lately, and viewings and ratings, and there's all kinds of political bullshit. But a lot of it has to do with they really have fundamentally changed the way the game is being played by adding a lot of rules that change the way that the offenses and defenses can interact with each
Protect
other.
the quarterback.
Because so many people are cutting the cord, and it's hard to stream.
Oh yeah, they're taking a hit in viewership because everybody's dumping at ESPN.
That too, but I mean, it's generally speaking, the way the game's played has changed dramatically since over the past 10 years. And a lot of people have pointed out that it kind of makes the games a little bit less because there's plays in the NFL right now that are designed to simply draw penalties in order to move the ball down the field more effectively than actually moving the ball down the field the old school way. So, and it's just that it can really, and you have officiating issues and stuff like that. Constantly changing the way a game is, the dynamics of a game can affect the way people enjoy watching it because things that some people might enjoy with the way, like, I mean, I haven't played a League in a long time, but the way people would get into the really massive duels early game and stuff like that just, one change in the way the system works or one change in an item, it completely changes the character. A character that might be really strong one week could be completely useless the next.
They completely nerf the shit out of them,
So, and it's one of those things where it's like people are going to follow like the gamers they like, but generally they're probably going to follow a gamer they like or a team they like or a player on a team they like because of a champion they play. And because it's probably a champion they use or a champion they enjoy or whatever reason behind it. And then if next week that champion is no longer useful at all in some cases, their interest might be waning because they're not seeing what they want to see, So it's just, I think League has got a very
in Rocket League, when you pick a favorite, you're not picking a favorite card, you're picking a favorite player.
Exactly.
In League, you're picking a favorite character.
Exactly.
I think most people follow teams.
Well, people follow teams.
Most people
they
follow
also
teams.
But see that
I like TSM or I like CLG or whatever. I think that's most people.
The same thing goes back in that too, where you have certain teams have players on them. They're dominant with certain characters, and if that character becomes nerfed, that player loses some of their power. And some teams I know have been completely destroyed in that aspect because they're used to using a certain rotation. And I know that all pro players are very good with all champions, but they all have very like 5 champions.
Everybody's got favorites.
Yeah, and it's like you could have a team completely lose standing for no other reason than this season their rotation is just weak, and they have to use things that are not necessarily in their safety or their
or the other team knows how to counter those rotations.
Or some teams might have champions that get powerful, and then they're going to have an advantage. And like I said, that kind of kills it. Rocket League's got that aspect where everybody's using the same exact thing, and all boils down to the actual.
It's all about who practiced the most
and the general raw talent of the person using the same thing overall. It's an extremely balanced playing field,
right?
And it's really easy to understand. So I can see Rocket League taking off in that aspect because it's easy to follow, it's easy to understand, and the game is balanced from the ground up. It's all about the skill of the player, not about the person, the car they're using, or the equipment, or the stuff they're buying, and all that jazz. And like I said, that makes it really simple and really enjoyable.
You could sum all of that up by saying it's more casual viewer friendly.
I was just thinking, dude, 10 minutes later, we're just coming back to the same thing.
No.
I'm not saying it like condescendingly. I'm saying it like casual, as in you can sit down and watch Rocket League and know what's going on instantly, and that's what makes it a good game. That's what makes it look.
Is going to be a gateway esport.
It could be, absolutely. 100%.
I hope so.
I agree.
I hope so.
I believe that, absolutely. I think it's the easiest game for anybody to sit down and watch and realize what's going on. That's what made it such a fun game to play. It's a car, there's a ball, I know what I'm doing immediately. Like it's not hard to figure out.
When you get gold, stuff explodes.
Yeah, the map explodes.
And I'm gonna go a step further here and be even more of a dick, and bashing in League. I think you're right, Saul. It could be a gateway game, and I could see Heroes of the Storm pushing further and taking some of the esport aspect if they want to do that, which it looks like they're trying to lean into more. Blizzard definitely seems to be pushing towards esports in a lot of their competitive games, but it's one of those things where
I think Overwatch is the only one that can really.
Aw.
well,
push the
the reason
esport
I say
over.
that is because Heroes of the Storm has a lot of the characteristics that we are already talking about in Rocket League. It's the
See how good
aspect.
a rack looked?
Heroes of the Storm has a lot of stuff that's different. It has a lot of the aspects of Rocket League, and it also has a lot of the competitive nature of League of Legends without the complexity. There's no items. They don't really. They
Yeah,
make
yeah.
change stuff, but the characters are generally going to remain the same. Excuse me. And counter picking is still going to be a key factor to the game, but it's going to be more depth because it doesn't matter. The character is still going to play the same way. It's not going to be a factor of whether or not the current items in the game make the character more powerful
Yeah.
or weak.
I
No,
can
I
sum
don't
this
see
up by
Heroes of the
saying
Storm.
Anti really thinks this game is amazing.
I don't see
I'm
Heroes
waiting
of the
for
Storm
Anti to say
surpassing
he's
League.
trying out for that.
I
that
hope he
tournament.
does, man. I'll cheer
Yeah.
for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would too.
It'd be awesome. I don't see Heroes of the Storm surpassing League of Legends. I think the best players
Oh,
are going to
yeah.
gravitate towards the more skill-based game,
Or
which
the
would be
more-
League of Legends.
I disagree with that in the same because it's still a skill based game. The only
Oh, it's
difference
still
between League of
skill-based
Legends,
game, but I think it's
you
more
said it
skill
yourself
needed.
playing it. It's the same exact skill base when it's or the same
Same
skills
idea,
you utilize in League of Legends. It's the same skills you're utilizing in Heroes of the Storm. The only difference is the buying of items. That's it.
Yeah, well, and last hitting. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's missing.
And the map mechanics.
The map mechanics, the jungle pressure. There's a lot of stuff that's
Yet
missing.
again, but it all in League of Legends, the entire game basically functions around the goal and the items that you're building, and that has a dramatic effect late game.
My eyes are open, but I fell asleep 3 minutes ago.
Well, I think the items is
Let's
it
go,
can be an
God!
interesting give and take as well. But let's move on. We're getting way past.
Holy crap,
I
holy.
didn't expect to talk that long about Rocket League being on TV. This is an interesting thing.
Fine, I'll tune in. Fuck.
Dear God, we're having a discussion
Oh, what?
show, and we're actually having a discussion. What the fuck are we doing?
This was an interesting thing I saw a few days ago. There was a Reddit user named Spray and Pray who was bitching, we'll call it bitching, about this single tree on a map in Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. He was complaining because he would bring his helicopter in, land, let guys offload, and then he would take off and he would run into this single palm tree over and over again. Like every single time, it was just in the way. And so in their most recent update, they actually removed the tree for this one guy.
Are you kidding me? They took
Yeah,
the tree
they
out?
took the tree out, and they specifically mentioned him in the
In the patch
in the
notes,
patch notes. It says it's spray and pray, and it says something like "We agree with you," and they removed the tree.
Dude, when I play that game, I'm gonna record myself saying, "Man, I missed that tree." Every time I fly through that spot, man, that tree really made this map.
It really pulled the map together.
That tree really brought the map together.
I just love it that Tripwire was browsing the forums enough on Reddit to see somebody complain about it, and
They
then removed
pissed
it
on
for
your
him.
tree, dude.
That
It's
guy
like-
does not have the skills to professionally play esports.
No.
That's
to continuously
Can't
run
remember
You know what
this
happens
tree
when you
is
run into the
spray
same
and pray.
object? At some point, it's not the tree's fault; it's yours.
Yeah.
All right. It's if you keep taking off
Dude,
flying to the left and hitting a tree, and you keep taking off flying to the left and hitting a tree, maybe you should take off and fly to the right.
To the right.
You know?
Military right. Military.
I'm just saying. It's
Well, I
just,
mean, if
know.
you look at the map, there is like this little V in the forest, and there's this palm tree right in the middle of this V. So it does look like a place you should be able to fly
Probably-
right through.
It's probably, yeah, you probably take too much enemy fire to get out of the area unless you fly through that.
Yeah, it's like right on an objective, and so he would drop everybody off, and take off to get out of there before he took too much enemy fire. But he would run into this palm tree, and so they got rid of it. I just thought it was hilarious that they did it for
I just
one
would
guy.
think playing the
Dude,
beast-
if that was me, I would have made the tree a little higher.
Yeah.
Because fuck him.
We added
that's why.
another tree.
That's why, Spray and Pray. Fuck you. That's why.
It makes
We
me
love
laugh
our
'cause it
trees.
just- you can imagine to be the VC on that map where it's like, the helicopter's coming in, troops are getting out. I didn't make it.
Everybody lines up on either side to watch the tree.
I didn't make it again.
Oh,
He
so
forgot about
sorry.
it. How does he keep?
I really
forgetting
thought he was
about
going to
that
make it
tree?
that time. Did you think he was going to make it
I
that
doubt,
time?
man. He came close, but he just clipped it. You know, just missed it. Yeah, just man.
Yeah. So I liked that.
Must not have been using the high octane stuff.
Does see, Tord? I would have removed the tree and then put it somewhere else, so he would, it's still in the line where he's gonna hit it, but it's somewhere,
Just put it right in the middle of his base, right where he lands.
Right wherever he's
right in the
landed.
center of
on
the
the
H.
objective. Yeah.
Right in the center of the H.
We moved the tree onto the objective.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Spray, break.
Yeah. So that's the shit that rises to the top after
That
after
is
E3 happens.
hilarious. That is hilarious.
On to some a little bit of movie news. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who were the directors of Han Solo film, coming out
Quit.
next year. They didn't quit. I believe they were fired, but they may have quit. There's conflicting
Didn't they get
reports.
into a
story
pissing
I
contest with
read-
the producer?
Yeah,
Well,
the producers
yeah.
apparently this is what I had read somewhere, that they were allowing a lot of improv in the movie, and the producers did not like that at all. They said stick to the script. They said no, essentially. Went back and forth. Apparently, tensions were very high on set. The producers were there, or at least one in particular, and so they're gone. Ron Howard apparently has signed on to finish the film.
Oh God, Opie did it.
So I can see Ron Howard.
We
That's
needed Tor.
a safe bet, I think.
Now Tom Hanks will be playing the role of Han
Yeah.
Solo. Life is like a Millennium Falcon.
Too much improv. You could see the producers came out and were like, "Do you see this? This is called a contract. You signed this. It says you do what we fucking tell you to do." And they
See,
went, "No."
that's 8 zeros. Shut up.
Yes.
Tatooine, we have a problem.
That's not just. What are you gonna do?
That's good.
The thing with that is that the question I have to ask about that is that a good sign or a bad sign?
I
knows?
don't
Who
know.
knows?
Ron Howard.
There's nothing wrong with Ron Howard. I mean, he's made good movies.
Wait
he
a
did a good.
minute.
He did a
He's
good job.
at a certain kind of movie.
He did a good job with the Da Vinci Code, even though the script was pretty shitty.
He's good at a certain
And
kind
let's
of
not
movie.
forget that it was nowhere near as good as the book. They really shit up the bed on those movies.
He didn't write the movies, so you can't
I'm
blame
not
him for
saying
that.
that. I'm
Yeah,
just
he did
saying
a good
that,
job
you know.
directing them. I think he's a safe bet, which is what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody to come and just finish the
I
movie.
forgot. Bode is the kind of person that goes, "Well, the movie was bad, but the cinematography."
I love cinematography.
Amazing.
A good
Yeah, that's-
cinematography
well,
could save
yeah.
a film for me.
Yeah.
If you give me
The
some good scenery
cinematography
shots.
just made it.
No, I don't know. It
She
looks
spent-
beautiful, but the story was shit.
Children of Men, great cinematography in that.
Yeah.
It's one
yeah,
of those
definitely.
things. It's one of those things where you sit there, boy, and it's almost like it's pornography for you. You can watch the movie muted, and it wouldn't affect you. You know what I mean? Just because the pictures are pretty. You know?
Aggressively masturbating, apparently. In the theater.
Yeah, that theater.
I don't care about Gal Gadot. I like the scenery shot here.
Look at that cliff. Look at that.
so this, the Han Solo film. If it's shitty, it's not Ron Howard's fault. He can blame somebody else.
Maybe.
He's got a cop out ready to go.
I didn't film half of it. What do you want me to do?
If
I'm
you
trying
had
to
to think of-
salvage the shit they gave me.
If you had to think of somebody else, though, a different one, who else would you rather see do directing it?
Yeah,
Michael
who's
Bay.
available?
Oh, shut up.
Michael Bay. Explosions everywhere.
Shut up.
For some
We're done
odd
with
reason, the
Michael
Millennium
Bay.
Falcon gets blown up 5 times.
Well, the movie was shit, but those solar flares look bitches.
Amazing.
Solar flares. I hate solar flares in movies.
No,
That's
if you
a
want
J.J.
to,
Abrams
okay,
thing, right?
Peter Jackson. No, yeah,
Peter
J.J.
Jackson.
Abrams
He
is
could. Yeah,
always
I mean, you
over.
got to get somebody that can handle a big budget film. That's part of the problem.
What about
See, that's the problem with Peter Jackson would be it would turn into a 3-part series.
what about Steven Spielberg?
Spielberg. I don't know.
yeah.
He's probably working on Ready
No,
Player One.
dude, I got it.
Oh,
I got
I'm
it.
sure he is.
I got it.
He's
I got
producing it, isn't he?
All right, whoa. All
I
right,
got it.
Oh,
George
boy.
Lucas.
George Lucas. A little-known director named George Lucas.
We're gonna completely rewrite
Tell
this.
me right now that wouldn't be the greatest fucking thing in the world. They fired 2 directors and hired George Lucas. to
George,
do a
Disney's
Star
on the
Wars.
line.
And it ends up being amazing.
It ends up being great, yeah.
George Disney's on the phone.
Fuck. Tell me that wouldn't be fucking hysterical. Tell me right now that wouldn't be
The
like
big middle finger to Hollywood. It rocks.
George
$2
Lucas
billion.
comes
Dude,
to
if that was
direct-
the case, at the end of the credits, the final credits, they all roll out, I would just have a picture of me gone.
you gotta do that bit. I think Bones seen it. I think I showed it.
George Lucas.
George Lucas yelling at everybody, and he's at the end. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, my movies can't make you 8 years old again." And he's bitching at everybody.
Yeah.
And he just leaves with the mic drop. You know, it's just like,
Yeah.
That's great.
Good old George Lucas. He made out like a devil on that deal. Said he's just rolling in money right now.
I'm telling you, man.
I just like the kind of person he is too. I like the fact that all those rich people out in Hollywood Hills are complaining about zoning laws around his area, so he bought up all the property and had it zoned out for public housing. Like the whole neighborhood is public housing.
It's the thing with that is that if there's a lesson to anybody that's looking to get into movies and any type of shit like that, you can sell whatever you have to anybody, but keep the merchandising rights.
Yeah.
All right. If it doesn't matter if you intellectual property.
I don't know that Hollywood allow that anymore, though. I just don't know if they will.
Honestly, the business strategy, a lot of, like, for example, there's a recent one with Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man. He took a pay cut, but basically said he wanted percentages of the overall
Toy
gross
sales.
sales.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he's not making as much money per movie, but he's making a
But yeah,
fuck ton in the
He's
back
making
end.
a shit ton of money per movie
Yeah,
too. He's making a crazy amount of money.
he's
on those
getting
movies.
he's 8 figures.
But he's
Yeah.
making more money off the actual. He's getting
The toys,
percentages
yeah.
of sales,
But
which means
those are decent movies, though. If you're making a terrible movie, say no. I'm just gonna take whatever I get from this.
Yeah, it's
you
a
can have this
crapshoot.
toy
Yeah.
sales.
it without a doubt that is very very
And
true.
going into the
but
first Iron Man movie, you didn't know what you were gonna get.
that I'm not saying you didn't.
Now
But
you know.
the key thing with that is, though, if you have confidence in your ability and remember you've read the script, it's not like you're going into this completely blind.
Yeah.
You know, if you think it's going to be good and you think you're going to make money off of it, you're going to make money in the long run. Think about, for example, the original Star Trek was not a success. It didn't become a success until reruns hit in.
Mhm.
All right, a lot of the
Did
people.
you see that original Star Wars?
It was Star Trek.
Or I mean, Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Did you see the original one though?
It was horrible.
Dun, 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 dun,
It was-
dun, dun, dun,
They're
dun, dun.
listen, you watch them and I laugh at them. So my father always watches them, and I constantly get on him because Captain Kirk's answer to everything is nuke it from space. His answer to everything is literally, let's go back to the Enterprise, we'll shoot rockets and missiles at it, and then they'll listen to us.
Nuke it from space while I make out with this alien chick
That's
over
it.
here.
That's it. His answer to everything, but his answer to everything is nuke it from space. And it's just like, dear God, they talk about him great. It's like if you watch Picard in The Next Generation, it's a lot more like even keeled. But Kirk is literally just like kill them all.
Well, during
It's
the
like-
Next Generation, there was a big push on not interfering with
yeah,
other
the
cultures,
Yeah,
and
Prime Directive is not.
yeah,
interfering with lesser
that's when it
cultures.
really started being a hardcore thing, and then it
The
carried on
original
into
Star Trek was let's land there and then show these spear wielding savages what a phaser does. So
Now we get
it's-
into Pine, and Pine don't give a shit.
Very
They'll just do whatever it
American
has to.
imperialistic.
But think about it this way: if any of those actors had signed a contract like that, think about how much money they'd be making right now. It wasn't a success at the beginning, but they would be getting residuals off of everything they've done. That's
Oh yeah, their great grandchildren will still be making money off of Star Trek.
Yeah, well, that's if you get that kind of contract, more power to you. But I mean, that's where Lucas makes all of his money off of. He doesn't make off. I mean, shit, the prequels were horrible, but he makes his money off residuals. He owns he owned everything. He sold it all to Disney now.
Well, he still owns
But,
the game company, doesn't he?
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
Lucas-
Disney owns it.
Lucas Games, I think he's.
Yeah, Lucas Arts. It's
LucasArts?
still his name, but as far as I'm
LucasArts.
aware, he sold Lucas Arts to EA, and I believe EA. It was still partially owned by Disney. There's some stuff in there, but I don't think he owns it anymore outright. I think it was part of the deal when he sold it because Lucas Arts still had right. The reason Lucas Arts has rights to all the Star Wars is because it was Lucas owned Star Wars.
Yeah, but he still
Walt
has
Disney Company owns LucasArts now.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah, but he still has he still has
Yeah, he still has something. I know that.
he has a music production company or
He
something.
might. Shit, he's got fucking like what? He got $4 billion for.
I can't remember what it's
Star Wars
called.
or
It's
something
called
like
something Studios. But...
He owned. You got to realize how much he owns with that, because he owned Digital Lights and Magic, which was was it Digital Lights and Magic? It was Jim Henson's company, because Jim Henson did all the work for the original 3 Star Wars. So that's why it was all puppets, and it still looks a lot better than the fucking CG shit they do today.
And that one prequel where they tried to do a puppet, but it just looked all wrong. It's just wrong.
It's like I said, it's if you're an up and coming person, you can sign a contract like that. It's not a bad deal. You know what I mean? And if in 5 years down the line, if your little crappy movie turns into a cult classic and gets a lot of attention, you're going to make a lot more money than you would off the major contract up front. It's a better investment in the long run. Is what I'm saying. So, and then the next time, if it starts picking up like that, and then another movie gets made, you can ask for a fuck ton more money up front and make your money.
I wonder if movies like Valerian, like that new movie Valerian, are gonna pique interest of people to go back and see The Fifth Element that never saw it.
I don't know.
It's the same guy, right?
Yeah, it's Luke Besson. I don't know if that's a problem. I think The Fifth Element is another one.
I didn't say it's a problem. I just said.
I don't mean a problem. I mean, I think everybody's seen them. I think a lot of people have seen The Fifth Element. I don't think it's an issue with that. I think you'd have to be harder pressed to see people seeing his earlier works like Leon, The Professional, versus The Fifth Element. The Fifth Element is extremely well played.
The French version of that is so good.
Yeah, that's why I said Leon, The Professional. The French version is Leon, The Professional, not The Professional. So.
All right.
Anyway.
Other movie news. It has been reported that Sony's upcoming Venom film will feature Carnage as its villain. Didn't we?
Called it!
I was going to say, didn't we discuss that a few weeks ago?
Yes, we did.
Yep. She called it.
Tom Hardy is going to be starring in Venom. They did sign a deal, apparently. It's dated for October 5th, 2018. And I did hear somewhere else that it is going to be rated R.
Good.
Yeah. So that's an exciting one. So they're going down the Logan path of making it rated R. Yeah. So. Oh, and the other thing is, apparently that they were discussing the fact that Spider-Man: Homecoming exists in the Marvel universe, and apparently he's also going to exist in this universe, but this universe won't exist in the same universe as the Marvel universe. Very strange that so Spider-Man can exist in the Venom film, but none of the other superheroes will. Is essentially how it's going to end up working.
Is it the same?
Didn't they say there was going to be more spin-offs that have to do with that?
Of the
didn't they say there's going to be a couple? Yeah.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna have to go back and read that article, the long one.
That's really weird.
Yeah, it was very strange because Sony owns obviously Spider-Man, but Marvel's doing the movies for them, so they were. It's a weird situation right now with them. But that's that. So yeah, I'm excited about it being an R-rated film. Who knows what the hell's going to go on with Carnage just running around killing people?
It definitely opens up the movie and
yeah, that is definitely going to be a rated R film.
They're just going to have Carnage murdering people for the first 10 minutes of the film.
That's what he does.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what he does.
It might be why they call him Carnage.
Yeah,
not sure why.
It's much scarier than White Fluffy Bunny.
Yeah, I mean I don't see a Carnage walking around like
someone who owns that name
across the
might
street,
be able to
On the other hand, though, if you have a villain that's named White Fluffy Bunny, I think he's going to be the one everybody else is scared of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That dude earned the respect of the
crew. Yeah, it's like yeah.
So the Steam sale is going on right now. Has anybody purchased anything?
Yes.
What'd you get?
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah, I got Shadow of Mordor for $4. That's a hell of a deal.
That's the only one I've gotten to so far.
I got what did I get? Prison Architect.
Oh, yes, I saw
that. Wildlife Park 2 or something.
Wow.
Is that another like sim
game?
You and
your games.
It's similar to like Zoo Tycoon, but my Zoo Tycoon discs are hidden right now, so I was like,
is it like a more modern, updated version?
They're in a security safe box somewhere.
No, they're just in storage. I was like, I really want just a sim management kind of thing, and so I ended up getting both.
Weird. It's a wildlife park type.
It's like a
Sim.
zoo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a zoo sim type thing.
So
I gotta find a copy of Sim Golf. I loved that game.
What do
You
you do
make
in
a
that
golf
game?
course. What do you make? What do you do in the wildlife one?
Yeah, the wildlife one.
You manage the
Make a
park.
zoo.
Yeah.
You just
Put,
Make
make
it
it
manage
a
lay
it.
out
wildlife.
exhibits. Yeah. Set prices,
Yeah, kind of like how prison architect, you make and manage a prison.
and you kill all the
I'm
inmates.
so
Let's learn to exploit the wildlife in a game.
Actually, right before the stream started, I was having this overpopulation problem until apparently a riot started, and of the 120 inmates I had, 50 of them died and the other 50 escaped, and so I have 20 inmates now, so I don't have an overpopulation problem anymore.
Problem solved. It just worked itself out.
Fun times.
Yeah, so I don't know when I don't know when the Steam sale ends, but I hope they keep adding more stuff. It was hard to tell how it's going
I
to
thought
work
it was
this
going
year.
to be around for a week.
A week. Normally, it's way more advertised. I feel like on the store page, it's barely advertised. It feels like there's a little banner at the top that says Steam sale, and then that's more or less it. It just seems super underdone this year.
July 5th,
July 5th.
so day after
So-
Independence Day.
Yeah, that's almost 2 weeks then. So I would imagine that they're going to be adding more stuff as the days go on. Then.
I thought they weren't going to do that anymore, though.
I think they
were
add
just
stuff. I
release
think they
everything
keep adding stuff, but they don't have the flash sales where things go
Flash
crazy
sales.
cheap.
Still miss this.
Because you could at this point you could just return your game and then rebuy it for the cheaper price. So they're not going to do that anymore because it's a waste of time and money for them. Really, at the end of the day,
Yeah, it's definitely a
that's
money
processing costs for them. They don't want to have to deal with.
Yeah.
So they just have whatever the price it comes out as is what it's going to be for the rest of the time that it's on there. But
I
definitely
say
pick up
they-
Shadow of Mordor for
Yeah,
$4.
for $5, you can't
Yeah.
beat that. Yeah.
$4.
What you got next?
Tornsole posted this new open access game called Walden, and if you know the book On Walden Pond, then you will know what this game is about. It is an open world narrative exploration title based on Henry David Thoreau's
Thoreau.
classic literary
Yeah.
work Walden.
Lovely.
It's an educational game where you learn about nature as you explore. I don't think it's a survival game.
It is a survival game.
Is it? But what if you
Yeah,
don't?
you have to craft. You have to build.
Yeah, but if you,
You have
don't
to build.
eat, do you
have to get
die?
food. Yes, you can.
Do you really die?
Not only that, but the guy I was watching the gameplay video of, he went to town and found out that he had a huge tax burden that he had to pay off, just like it happened to
Thoreau.
Thoreau in real life. He had this huge tax that he had to go and pay, but he actually paid it in the game.
That's interesting.
No, you
It's-
do. You have to eat. You have to build, and you have to explore. And you know.
But it
Party
looks
for grab.
it looks like an educational game more than anything. It's from what I could tell.
It is. It's
Is
supposed to be
educational
educational.
in the same way that Minecraft is educational, or is there actual educational value to it?
Well, as
well-
you play, you unlock more of the text of
Yeah,
Walden.
you read.
So you read
yeah.
the book as you go, sort of,
Yeah.
and you can
And
explore
you talk to people that he
the
talks
nature,
to.
and it tells you like details about what you're looking at and stuff
You
like
meet
that.
people. You explore and meet people that are you have interactions with these people, and they talk about shit. Smart shit.
Yeah,
Educational shit.
and in like the
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah.
So the
All
last thing I got to point out is that there's the newest No Clip documentary just came out today, and it's part one of a 3-part series, I believe, about Final Fantasy XIV and the development cycle. I think the first part is about them originally developing the game. The second part is about them then being like, shit, it sucks. We have to redevelop it again. And then I don't forget what the third part is. But the first part I saw was 50 minutes. I didn't get to watch it yet, but his stuff is awesome. So go check that out.
So is it called Daddy of Light?
Oh God. Oh God.
Holy God.
Is that out on Netflix yet? By the way.
I don't know. I haven't been looking for it.
No, I haven't had my ear to the ground on that one. Daddy of Light. So that's all I got. Anything else?
Nothing I
I'm
could
sure
think of
there's
off the top of
something,
my
but I can't remember it right now.
Well, if you're watching us live, we'll be back in a minute to do a couple other things. But if you're not, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.
Right.